I'll start right there where I've snipped. Okay, so I start there. Okay, so I'm going to put a pin, and whenever I put in my pins, I do it with the idea that I will stitch in the middle of that pin. And then I'm going to line up these lines. So I'm just going to go like this, and look at that. Look at that. That looks really good. So I'm going to go like this. Okay, and then I'm just going to check and make sure this is in the middle of the pin, and so is that. And then right here. Okay, and so I'm just going to make sure that yeah, that matches perfect. So I'm just going to put a little pin right there. And I just, okay, so now I stitch across. I want you to notice that this is not a perfectly even square here, is it? That's because I had 2 inches on this side, and I had 2 5/8 on this side. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they're different measurements. You just have to make sure you get the line where you need it. So now I'm going to come over here, and we're going to stitch this. Okay, and I just want to make sure that I get that right there. Okay, and I've got these here. Okay, we'll just do a few stitches, and then we will back stitch, and then we'll keep going, and take my pin out, keep going, and I'll go to the end, and then I'm going to back stitch a few, and then I am going to go ahead and trim that clip, cut, whatever. Get rid of your extra thread. Okay, and now before I trim this, I want to make sure that I stitched it in the right place. So I'm actually going to turn this, and it's not going to look too great down there because it's so bulky right now, but I'm going to look at that and say, all right, how does that look? Is it matching up nice? And that looks beautiful. So I think that's looking great. So now I'm going to go back, and I'm going to trim at about 1/4 inch. And I'm going to trim a little bit off this corner. Okay. And then I'm going to press it on a point presser. And here's my point presser. And I'm going to put this in like that. And open this up. And I'm just going to go ahead and press that and steam that good. And I'm not so worried about, I mean, if you have a really kind of a delicate fabric, put your press cloth. Press cloths are always good to use. But I'm doing okay here. Okay, and now I'm going to turn that in, and you can use a nice point turner. I tend to use my fingernail or a pin, or the point pressers are good too. But see, this is a little bit bulkier. So anyway, there's my mitered corner. And now I'm ready to go ahead with the vent. This would be a great time to go ahead and press my 2 inches all the way around and get this hemmed. Let me tell you something about this. When I turn this up 2 inches, see how bulky? And it's okay to have wider seam allowances, but this makes it bulky. So what I would do here, and I'm just gonna do it, is I would go ahead and you might want to mark the 2 inches. Yeah, so that's 1/2 inch from here. So I'm just going to do it. So if you trim a little bit of this seam allowance out, like that, get rid of this. Then when you turn this up at 2 inches, then you don't have all that extra bulk. See, this makes it really bulky. This makes it really nice. So I would do that because I'm going to turn it at 2 inches. So I would measure if I were you. And this is, I went a little bit higher, okay? Because this, when I turn up my 2 inches, is going to be right here. So I'll turn that up there. And so anyway, that is a good thing to do. So what I'll do now is press this